next we have our premium partner NetApp on intersection of AI and data, building intelligent data infrastructure. For this, I'd like to call Anup, and joining him on stage is Puneet Gupta, Managing Director and VP NetApp India and SOC. Gentlemen, please join us on stage. Let's welcome the gentlemen on stage.
So very good afternoon and welcome, Puneet.
Thank you. Thank you.
Really appreciate. Of course, our topic of discussion is around intersection of AI and data, building intelligent data infrastructure. So I don't think data needs any introduction, and digital transformation, I think everybody understands the context here. So we'll straight get into the conversation, Puneet. Tell us what role data is going to play in the future, and what should our CIOs and IT leaders expect from NetApp in the near future?
Thank you. Thank you. So firstly, a warm good afternoon to everybody. To answer Anoop's question, firstly, the only business that we are in is in the business of data, right? That's the only thing we do. And if you look at the world of data, I think it's changed very significantly in the last about 7 to 8 years. First, the quantum of data has gone up significantly. And as the analysts will tell you that every year the world generates more data than ever in the history of human mankind. That's the speed at which data is growing. So that makes it a little more complex. Second, in the platforms where data is sitting. So 10 years back, data was only in the data centers. Today, it's not just multiple data centers, but it's multiple public cloud providers, it's edge, core, IoT devices, data sitting in multiple places. And how enterprises and organizations harness this data, how they firstly get access to the data, and then to be able to leverage for business is what their future is going to look like. And lastly, I think data is going to become a very important part in our lives, because now they say that data is not only important to enterprises, but to communities and countries. And recently I heard somewhere they said that people can be fighting the next war around data. So data is going to be an integral part of our life. Now what you can expect from NetApp is, I think, straightforward. We're a tech company. So innovation is going to be absolutely at the forefront. And across the last about a year and a half, we've come out with a lot of new technologies, which not only will give a lot of scalability and flexibility, but will also give you a lot of security. And we will talk more about that as we go along. But like I said, this is the only business we are in. And like I tell many people, if we can't do a great job of what we are in, then...
So I like that. It's like the laser sharp focus. Huh?
Absolutely.
Only data.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So tell us, in what ways does NetApp's intelligent data infrastructure support scalability and flexibility for businesses facing rapidly growing data needs?
Yep. So, if you see what's happened in India in the last about 5 or 6 years, the growth of data has been phenomenal, and especially with, with the way UPI has grown, the banking system has just gone through the roof. Now with 5G coming, again, it's going to be like huge amount of data getting generated. So what NetApp has done is a couple of things. Firstly, scale is a given. And with the scale-out architecture, you can go scale as much. We run some of the largest private clouds in India and probably in the world. Given the size of Indian demographics, some of these databases are really large. And so scale is a given. Second, I think with the new density systems that are coming, now you can get a lot more performance, a lot more scalability in smaller boxes. So if people had a definition of scalability earlier, that definition is now changing at least 2 times, 3 times. And lastly, one of the good things that NetApp has done is to have one operating system across the board. And that offers enormous flexibility when you are running a large operation, because one operating system for file, block, object on the cloud, you can just move stuff seamlessly, whether it is skills or data movement. I think you get enormous flexibility around it.
Right. And Puneet, when you talk about scalability, right, so automatically you have a lot of the threat actors that come into play.
Yep.
At the same time, there's legal and compliance, right? Yep. There's the regulator and the law of the land. So tell us, how does NetApp ensure data security and compliance within its intelligent data infrastructure, especially in industries with stringent regulatory requirements?
Yep. Yeah, so I think great question and a very important one. There are many industries which are heavily regulated. So you have banking, you have telco, you have life sciences, and a few others. And when you are in these industries, then two things are very important. First, who has access to what data? Because everybody cannot have access to all the data all the time. And I think today the technology is reasonably strong that you can be as granular as you want on who should get access to what. Second is the most fundamental, is to just protect your data. Now, I think most of you in this room will have a very strong security posture in your own organizations. But in spite of that, we keep hearing in the media that there is a ransomware attack and so and so. And what we hear in the media is a very small percentage of what really happens. So NetApp guarantees recovery of data if there is a ransomware attack. In the unfortunate event and with all the security posture, if there is an attack, then the technology is strong enough that the data will get recovered in hours and the denial of service will go away. And that is very powerful because that's exactly what the ransomware attack is supposed to do.
Now, of course, when we are talking about data, we cannot ignore or dismiss the fact, like, emerging technologies like AI. So how do you see AI emerging as a technology, and what role will NetApp play in this?
So I think very interesting, and the previous gentleman who was up on the stage, right? He talked quite a bit on AI. He was giving us some live demos, but I think the important thing to keep in mind on AI, the fundamental of AI, if you look at it, is that you get a set of data both in quantity and quality, and you train that data for it to respond in real time, right? That's the fundamental. At the core of it, what sits is data. And what you need is a very high performing system which will take data back and forth because that's the only way it works. And then you have to keep training that data, keep making it more intelligent. And when there are queries like the one which came up that you compare SBI and HDFC Bank financials and when you go fetch, if you have to respond in real time, it really needs to be going really fast back and forth. And that's what we are doing, that with some of the new technology that we've just announced 2 or 3 weeks back, it's going to be dense, which means you need smaller footprints, it packs more capacity, packs more performance, and will really find that throughput back and forth for an AI system to deliver what it needs. And look guys, let's remember, these are still early days for AI. Many of you in this room are finding use cases for AI. I mean, we have ChatGPT. But the big question in AI in today's world is, what's the use case and how are people going to leverage? So there's going to be a lot of experimentation that will happen. And to be able to do that, you need a very strong infrastructure below.
So thanks. I think we have a good perspective in terms of, where NetApp is headed with data, AI, what's the focus, and what we can expect from the innovation side. But tell us, how has been NetApp's journey in India, and how is NetApp positioned in the Indian market?
Lovely. So I think, I tell many people that in this role that I do and the job that I do, this has been almost like a dream run in the last few years. And when our global CEO was here last year, he told the press, and normally we don't talk India numbers, but he told the press that NetApp has doubled its business in 2 years. And in my many years of career, I've really never seen anything like that. And he was being extra nice to me, so he again said that we will double again in 2 years. So he said, yeah, we had a good run, but we're not going to stop. And I can tell you guys that we are well on course for what he outlined. But more than that, I think what's very heartening for us is that we got market leadership in flash. And from what the analysts tell us, that in the calendar year 2023, NetApp was a market leader in flash, which is where the future of storage is. So yeah, phenomenal. And if you look at the market across, the largest banks, telcos, government, manufacturing organizations, across the board, I mean, I think we deal with all of them. The scale that we deal with is almost like 100 petabytes, 150 petabytes, I mean, that's the kind of scale we are handling for some of our customers. So yeah, it's been almost like a dream run, phenomenal, as good as it can get.
Well, so double down it is, and congratulations and all the best to you for that. But before we let you go, Puneet, tell us, given the success you have outlined, what is your secret sauce?
So, real life is always very boring and mundane, right? As much as we'll all love to come in a event and talk about all the exotic stuff, but real operations is like pretty boring. And success comes from back to basics. Business in our market, and I'm sure it's the same across the world, but really in India, is all about trust and relationship. I mean, that's the fundamental on which the business works. And you find trust and relationship not in a day, but it's about what you do every day along with your customers and how you show up, what happens when there's an eventuality or an event. How do you make sure that operationally you keep the customer as resilient as you can? Simple things like, right? Do you have the same operating system version that runs in all the storage boxes that run? Are you doing preventive spare replacement? I mean, all the basics. Somebody will turn around and say, what's the big deal? Nothing. But if you can do it every day, every week, every month, every quarter with all your key customers, then that story just shifts. And then the trust in the relationship becomes very different. And then you don't have to go and say, where's my business, right? Then it becomes the other way around, what more you can do for me.
Absolutely. I think consistency does lead to persistency. I think that goes without saying. But thanks a lot for all your insights. And like I said, wish you all the best on the doubling the numbers. And we look forward to that. But thanks a lot. The NetApp team is over here. Puneet is going to be here through the evening. So do take time to interact, network, and see where the collaboration kind of opportunity lies. But thank you so much. And thanks a lot, Puneet.
Thank you. Thanks, Anu.
Thank you, gentlemen. Let's have a quick photo opportunity. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Pleasure having you here with us. Thank you very much for joining us on stage, sir. Thank you very much. I'll see you.